welcome to this video. A lot of comments came up and one of them said they had watched all of Bob's videos and nowhere had he mentioned big RVs couldn't come. That may be true, but what he did say was if you have a big rig, you probably can't get through. But the point I was trying to make was that a permit or authorization to use federal public lands does not allow you permission to ignore the law. With all the questions, I thought I'd explain a little bit where I'm coming from, so I looked up the law. And we're going to start there with what the law regarding BLM land has to say on just one of the things that was going on at the WRTR and is currently going on at the RTR. And the only question I'm asking is real simple. If you violate the law, admit that you violate the law. Is there a reason to question your motives? So let's look at what the law actually says. For those of you who understand what this is, the citation is listed at the top. It's the CFR, that's the Code of Federal Regulations, Title 43, Subtitle B, Chapter 2, Subchapter D, Part 4100, Subpart 4140, Section 4140.1, Title Acts Prohibited on Public Lands. Now, there's a whole list of them. First group have to do with livestock. Then we get to I'll just go through them briefly. Cutting or burning, spraying, removing vegetation. You're not allowed to do that. Damaging or removing U.S. property without authorization. You're not allowed to do that. Littering. But number 7, interfering with lawful uses or users. Lawful uses or users, including obstructing free transit through or over public lands by force or threat or intimidation or signs or barriers or locked gates. At the WTR, at the RTR, there are people with signs. There are people who are specifically interfering with your transit. Now, one of the things that people will say is they have to interfere with your transit because. Okay? So the people who are defending the action admit that the action violates the law. That means that even they acknowledge that the action might be illegal. In this particular instance, I'd have to look at the case law, but at the RTR, there are signs, and there are people with signs that say stop and go. Anyone on this land who has registered with the BLM, which everybody I know has, can go wherever they want provided their use is lawful. And no one, not the RTR, not the RTR with a permit, not a ranger with a permit, has the authority to impede the lawful use. No obstructions, no barriers, no anything, not even signs. Now my issue is, there's the law. Everybody acknowledges that the RTR is walking around with signs and telling people where they can and cannot go. I'd like to know why that, of itself, without any explanation, with just knowing that, is not a violation of, in pertinent part, interfering with the lawful use or users by obstructing free transit through or over public lands by use of signs. Why is it that a group that is extremely large, thousands of people, with an individual who has 250,000 followers, gets so many people to come to his defense when the actions in which he is engaged may be a direct violation of the letter of the law? Why are not more people asking where the authority to change a federal law came from? Why does the RTR have rights that nobody else has? If you or I held up a sign that told somebody to go that way, maybe they'd go, but we'd probably get arrested, and I don't think any permit's going to help us. But in this case, it seems it's business as usual, with up to 250,000 people agreeing it's a good idea, and maybe 10,000 of them here to ensure that the RTR can do its special thing, which is contrary to the written law, which states again, interfering with the lawful use of the land or with the users, including obstructing free transit through or over the public lands, i.e. BLM, by use of signs or barriers or any other molestation. Everybody seems to think this is just wonderful, and because it's Bob, it's okay. It's not okay. It's not okay for anybody to do it. But what's even less okay is tolerating it and supporting it. Semper Fi.